My character is Cesare Borgia, who is the second son in the story of Rodrigo, and he has a pretty intense rivalry with his brother Juan, and both of them are sort of fighting for the father's affections. And my attraction to the role is that what you have in Cesare is like possibly the best character an actor could ever want to play. Like he really is everything. You got every single emotion, like an inner conflict, inner turmoil. You're gonna, in the time that I'm gonna play Cesare, and even in the first episode, I'm gonna have to do the whole range of emotions and stuff. Like, yeah, it's not just the same thing over and over again. With Cesare, like at the start of one scene, you could be completely happy, and by the end, you want to kill someone. So it's just, you know, you got this, which is just class. Like, that's just awesome to have a character like that. So I studied a year of psychology, and Sigmund Freud talks about personality as a conflict between these two factors, the id and the ego. And in Cesare, you have this conflict on a huge scale. So Cesare has, he constantly talks about, there's a struggle within him. It's the beast versus the saint, you know. So, you know, that's Sigmund Freud's id is like, I want this, I want to get it, I don't care, I just want it, like this is my urges. And then there's the ego, which is like the rational side. It's like, no, I can't do that, you know, I have to do this and this and this and be proper. And so you have this struggle between the two of like doing what his body wants him to do, like just go and kill and, you know, do whatever. And then like the rational side, and in Cesare you have this massive conflict, which is just, it's just incredible to play with someone with such a big inner turmoil. It's class. Preparing for the role, I have a friend who's a historian who sort of took me through a lot about the period, like the time. I concentrated more on the period rather than the character of Cesare himself. And as the series goes on, I'm reading more about him, finding out more about his character as he finds out about himself. And so instead of me going in with this idea of Cesare being this infamous character from history who killed all these people, you know, at the start of the series, he doesn't know who he is. He's trying to find out who he is. And so as the episodes go on, I'm you know, researching more and more about him. So this isn't actually my real hair. Every morning I sit for about 2 hours getting this lovely piece of real hair on my head, and it takes a long time, and if you're doing that every day, that kind of you get a bit annoyed, but it's definitely worth it, because as soon as you put it on, you're no longer Mark Ryder, you're definitely Cesare, and I'm a big fan of the wig. They tried to take it away from me, but I fight to keep it back because it really is awesome. This wig costs about 3,000 euros. So I didn't realize this until about several weeks in, that on my head every day, I have 3,000 euros, and I have 3 of these wigs, so it's pretty, like, but the guys, they really do a great job. Like Aldo and Gaetano, they have these magic hands, like when they're just working on it, and they'll work at it for so long, and I'll be like, it's fine, but they just get it just right every time. Even like carrying a sword is pretty cool, because then you're like, you feel as if you're like a man and, you know, a warrior. So they do really, and they're very, very impressive. You know, everything here is very impressive. I knew very little about the Borgias. I knew that there was a character in history called Lucrezia Borgia, or Lucrezia Borgia, and that's pretty much all I knew. And so I guess I started with Wikipedia, and I found out all about like the House of Borgia and all the different characters, and then we started reading the scripts, and the scripts are just class. Like, the thing that you've got is you've just got fantastic characters, and the more that we act in, like I feel that I'm acting in it, the more the characters become so strong, and it's the relationship between the characters, and that's all down to the writing. Like, the writing produces like these relationships, and I just think it's fantastic script, especially, you know, the first couple of episodes really grab your attention, and I think they're gonna, you know, really grab the attention of an audience as well. So I worked with Oliver before 2 years ago, and he really is a sort of father figure in the business, and very, very comfortable acting when he's directing. And I think the one thing that he's just so good at is he just can focus on so many different things. And so he has like the actors to deal with, and then all of a sudden he notices like, oh, this light needs to be there and that prop needs to be here, and he really does push you to get what he wants. And you know, if he's not happy with it, you're doing it again until, you know, he is happy with it, and he will get you to where he is happy.
It's an absolute pleasure to work with Dervla. She spends so much time with the actors after every single take. She'll come up, she'll give you the notes, and it's not just telling you what to do or how to do it. She's asking questions, making you find out about the character and answer the questions yourselves, and that's really fantastic. She's just awesome with the actors. She took us out for dinner before. We spent several hours looking over the script, every single line, every single word. You know, what does this mean? And the attention to detail is absolutely phenomenal. So very, very impressed.
Czech Republic, I think is great. I really feel at home in Prague very quickly. You know, it doesn't feel like I'm in some strange place. I feel very comfortable here, and it's beautiful. I go for some runs with Stanley, and we get to see the city, and I am a big fan of the Czech Republic from what I've seen. And Barrandov, I kind of just didn't really take it all in when I arrived. I came and just saw everything and couldn't believe it. You know, 2 weeks later you're like, oh crap, this is pretty neat. Well, I'm from Belfast, Northern Ireland, and I've been living in London for the last 2 years. And it has been interesting, I have to say, to meet. You've got a cast just with people from all over Europe, so it's like, how is that going to work? And so I was a little bit like, how is this going to work? And the thing is, it just does. And you've got all these different accents, all these different people, and I just love it. I love that Isolde's from Germany and Stanley's from France and stuff, and they can tell me all about like what goes on there or whatever. And I get on really well with all the cast. And the crew. I think that they're just both great. I think that's important with such a big series. Like, we need to get on well, and we do. Like, we really are a family, and I guess we're going to spend a lot of time together, so we better get along. So the audience will enjoy the characters the most. Initially I thought, oh, it'll be the violence and the scheming and the sex scenes, and it is very raw and very like passionate, but the more and more it's just the relationships between the characters. You have these really strong characters, and they're just so, I just think they're going to be so watchable. Like, I want to know what's going to happen to this guy. I want to, how do those two people get on, and like that. I think that's the thing that's going to really attract like the people, like, going to keep watching because they want to know what happens to these people.